The Philadelphia Eagles, I mean, this is my team coming off of a Super Bowl loss and having numerous players, about 5 or 6 starters, taken away from your roster in free agency. Lost both coordinators, you lost your DC, you lost your OC, and a lot of people are saying the sky is falling. I mean, it's not easy to replenish those type of losses, right? But Howie Roseman and Nick Sirianni, I think, have done a great job with trying to replenish them. They took better steps in free agency. Howie Roseman decided to let Miles Sanders walk. In their entire running back room, their combined salary is actually less than Miles Sanders' yearly salary as a whole. And that's just robbery. I mean, just to look at the running back market and say, I can make up one guy's contract value and spread it out amongst 4 individual players, and they are very highly productive players. Rashad Penny, hit and miss with his health, but when he's available, he's guaranteed to give you 4.5, 5 yards a carry. It's just a matter of, can you stay healthy? And then you have DeAndre Swift, also a guy, not the most healthiest, but has a receiving capability as well, extra dimension there. Kenneth Gainwell caught fire last year, had a 100-yard game against the New York Giants, was pretty productive in getting in the end zone as well in their playoff run. So I think he'll get more of the touches to start off, and then they'll sprinkle in the other 2 backs. And then you have the elder statesman, Boston Scott. He's not that old, but a Giants player, very productive also against the Giants. Those guys are going to be sprinkled in, and you just don't know who's going to kill you that day. These guys are going to be running behind the best offensive line in the NFL. You're going to be seeing them get hot on different days. You don't know. Is it a Rashad Penny day? Is it a DeAndre Swift day? Is it a Kenneth Gainwell day? Is it a Boston Scott day? You just don't know. You don't know who it's going to be, and it could be even where you come into it saying it's going to be this guy getting some carries, but you ride the hot hand, and then it's just really maneuvering how you counter that. The rest of the offense, Jalen Hurts, gonna build off of this last season. I think he's gonna get even better as a passer, gonna be better as a runner, be smarter, taking less hits, and it's just gonna open things up. Remember that you have Dallas Goedert, top 5 tight end. You have one of the best wide receiving duos in the NFL with Devontae Smith, with AJ Brown, and it's a really talented unit offensively. You lost a lot of players: Javon Hargrave, TJ Edwards, Kaiser White, Marcus Epps. Big losses there. That's a lot of starters there. And then you lose Jonathan Gannon. We'll call that at this moment. But losses, right? These guys have been replaced by Nolan Smith, Jalen Carter, Nakobe Dean, who's already there, but now he gets to be the starter. They brought in Zach Cunningham late into camp. Reed Blankenship is going to be a guy that takes a lot of people by storm, I'm very sure. He's great at recognizing plays, and in limited action, when he was subbing in for CJ Gardner-Johnson last year, he had capability of showing signs that he was a starting safety in this league. Then you have Sidney Brown, draft pick in the 3rd round. Really good guy, showed a lot of flashes in the preseason. I don't know if he's going to be starting immediately, but he'll be the starter by season's end. They found a way to bring back Darius Slay despite contract negotiations there. They brought back James Bradbury. That's going to be a really good cornerback duo right there. Overall, as a unit now, you have Sean Desai, a South Asian defensive coordinator, one of the first ever to be a defensive coordinator in the NFL. Love that. Love South Asian representation, but X's and O's, he comes off the Vic Fangio tree, and they coach aggressive tactics as well. They like that. Jonathan Gannon was a defensive coordinator that was very conservative. He didn't like the deep play, but he'll let offenses nickel and dime you down the field, and they'll say like, well, we're not going to have a lot of pass rush, but we'll drop guys into coverage. That's fine if you have linebackers that can cover. The Eagles never really had that capability. So this meant that you had to focus on the defensive line, and he benefited from one of the most talented defensive lines in recent history. Now, this year, Sean Desai gets a younger, cheaper unit to work with. Jalen Carter is going to be up there for the defensive rookie of the year. You can book it. As long as he's healthy, you saw flashes already that he can wreck a game coming up the middle. and I'm sure he's gonna get between 7-8 sacks this year, and it's very much a possibility that this team could replicate their dominant success as a team. Last year they had 70 sacks as a team. I'm not saying that they're gonna eclipse that or come close to it, but I think 65 in that upper 60s echelon is very possible with this defensive line. It's younger, it's faster, and deeper than it was last year. As a whole, I think this roster is just as talented as it was, and now it's just getting back to where they were, because it's one thing to go all the way there but not close the deal, which happened last year in 2022. You don't get to restart where you left off. You have to come back down to earth and then climb up that mountain again. This team has gone through trauma. They're in it. Super Bowl hangovers, very much a thing. Injuries could be very much a thing. The Eagles in 2022 were very, very healthy. Regression to the mean is inevitable. But with this depth that they have, I think they can survive a lot of injuries as long as Jalen Hurts and their skills guys especially are available. So knocking on wood there, sending good juju to the Eagles, but I do expect them to win this division and be breaking this curse of this revolving door of the NFC East and being the first time repeating NFC East champs in 20 years.